Whoa! Right. Evening, everybody. I'm sat down today because I am not feeling good at all. A bit of a head cold, man flu, you might call it. But yeah, it's been a struggle today. So luckily, though, I can sort of give my vocal cords a rest because Gavin can compete with me for talking any day of the week. So Gavin's going to cover most things. That's it tonight. But you have got myself, Andy, in as well. So Andy, how's your week been? All good, and obviously, of course, even better because we secured our status in League One.
Yeah, fantastic. It's been a great week so far. Not too busy, but it's been a good week. Absolutely fine. Great win on Tuesday night. Come to that later on. But yeah, all good. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, good. And Gavin, another busy week. It just seems to be endless as well at the moment. But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm good. Last day tomorrow.
Last day?
Last day of the week.
Oh, yeah. Yes, there is that.
Well, last half day. And then I'm travelling to Reading in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. You're travelling up for the match tomorrow. We are hoping, for those that know Mike Hawksey does join us a lot in the chat. He is a Reading fan. He is on his way up to Wales first before heading over to Reading tomorrow. So fingers crossed. He will join us just after 8. If not, we've got a video he gave me anyway. So I'm sat here trying to keep warm with Sophie next to me. And we are, of course, an hour earlier this time. So just to try and hopefully make things a bit easier. But thank you all for those that have joined us so far. Let's just see who we've got in. Baz in the Cloud says, evening, everyone. Hope everybody is well on this wet Thursday. We've got Stevie Vaughan's in as well saying, evening, guys. He's excited. He's buzzing with excitement, he says. Finley from Argyle News Hub is in. Good evening, everybody. Andy Prowse, or Prowsey, as you met him last week. Evening, everybody. Glad the pod is on during this horrible weather. CJ Party Gamer Boy says, I'm sat on Microsoft Flight Sim watching this lovely pod. Yeah, I've played that with Ben a few times. It's not the easiest of things. Debbie Ferguson as well says, evening. Peter Hemwood, Mike, I thought you were ill. Yeah, I'm not going to be presenting throughout, that's for sure, but it's hard to break a rhythm. Baz also said, I've rewatched the Wigan highlights. Second goal was a thing of beauty. Well worked by a number of players, absolutely. Matt Montgomery, I can see, is in. Callum Weevil, what's your views on Mitchell and Curtis at Cheltenham? Well, Gavin, seen that, and
That's a good one,
we'll
isn't it?
share that in a minute. Well, actually, Gav, just start us off quickly with that.
I literally, as we were loading to go on, I saw that. Mitchell looks like he's maybe had a couple of sherbets. I'm saying maybe, in case TC's watching or anyone at the club, Zach or, Paul. I think they were sherbet dib-dabs. Lick, not pints. And he seems to be doing a bit of crouchy robotic dancing. And then I think he upsets a steward and gets ushered away. And Curtis is stood there going, what the fuck are you doing? Sorry, I forgot the little one in the background. So it sounds like they've had a good day at the races. Don't know if they won any money. But I imagine that would have been Tuesday, the first day of the Cheltenham Festival, which they were given. No, Wednesday. Sorry, it would have been
They would have been playing Tuesday.
Second day of the festival because they were probably given the day off and then back in today, I'd assume.
Well, yeah. So well,
I think he's doing what Mitchell does, which is get up to mischief.
Let's just hope he didn't headbutt anything there in that evening. But yeah, you can't forgive him.
I'd love to spend the day on the beers with him and Dan Scar. I think that'd be a thing of beauty.
Well, they've also entitled to let their hair down. Those two have done a huge amount, haven't they? So I'm sure it won't be a problem for the lineup on Saturday. Let's hope. As Heather's joined us as well. Truth Plim, where is Herbie these days? Transfer. So Herbie goes. So he does. I think it's what is it? It's a oh my god, a pub quiz on a Thursday night. So he can't get on. He is looking to come back on, and we're also looking to Finley, the Argyle News Hub, is also going to join us soon as well. So we shall have an even stronger lineup going into next season. So yeah, thanks for that, Matt. Saying hope you feel better soon. It's not like me to sit down, which feels really weird while I'm presenting right now. But tonight's lineup. So I touched upon it on Tuesday night's watch along, which was absolutely fantastic night with Harvey on that, and obviously, of course, that result and securing our League One status. And thank you to everybody that joined us there. Obviously, talked about the situation that came out in the news about the club and the consultancy for redundancies. So Gavin's going to do a bit more on that tonight first. Then we're going to go into Tuesday night's match. So we'll round up with the highlights as usual. I've got all the videos. Luckily, I prepped it all last night, thank God. So that will be as per usual. And then we'll go into the Reading game. Hopefully, Mike might be able to get in then to join us. We'll talk about that and what we think. It's a massive playoff battle, that one. If we beat Reading, we can jump Reading. Who would have thought that recently? And it keeps us right in there. So we shall see. And then, of course, we have Heather joining us to go through the Argyle women's roundup for their next game as well. So, so if in old style, for those of you that knew on the live lounge, as we tend to call Thursday's show, we would normally do a topic when we can, and within that or any breaking news, and we'd put a little slide deck together. So we do have that for you tonight. So I shall bring that up, and then I shall sit nice and comfortably and hand over to Gavin. Is he there? What's he doing?
Oh, you naughty boy, you. 100 lines, Gavin. 100
naughty. Sorry.
That's
I
brilliant.
couldn't help it because I know Mike's feeling rough, so I just thought if I just freeze, then he might think I've gone. Anyway, sorry. For those listening, that was really, really, really infantile, and I do apologise. So, obviously, I think everybody jumped in with me on the Hypnos shares when ITV News broke that there was going to be some redundancies in the club. If you didn't, you've obviously missed out on a ton of value because there was a lot of bedwetting, which was probably par for the course, actually, I would say, in terms of some of the mentality of some of our fan base, but B, I think the fact that ITV jumped the gun and didn't let the club make a press release first, which is a bit naughty. But I'm sure Jackie from ITV will be let into the next press conference. Not if it was her. Anyway, I don't think she was in today's actually, which is interesting. So they released that the club's in consultation with a number of employees. Thanks, Matt. So what I thought I'd do is just whistle you through 4 or 5 slides of my interpretation of what that is at the moment. I don't have any vast inside knowledge, unfortunately, but just how I see the world and what I see going on. So just a prerequisite as well, I kind of do a little bit of financial turnaround for companies as part of my day job. It's not all we do, but it's certainly an element of what we do. So I am often sit with business owners talking to them about having to lose heads, not physically, but heads of people in the business in order to survive the company to survive. So this is kind of usual territory for me. And just to put that into perspective, last year, I think the revenue on another slide, but we did just shy of 30 million in revenue last year. I put these slides together very early this morning, about 5:30. So I can't remember what I put, but last year's revenue was 28.6, something like that, 29 million pounds. This year, there'll be a decline or a decrease in revenue of circa 9 to 10 million quid. So any business, that has nearly a third of its revenue stripped would normally be looking to cut costs. And football's no different, unfortunately. So unless you could have made 10 million quid up in extra commercial revenue this year, dropping down a league, which I think is highly impossible, unless your name's Wrexham, then you're going to be in trouble. So just to give a flavour on the slides, for those who don't know, I think there's about a £7 to £8 million difference between Championship money from Sky and League One money from Sky, and that will make up a large part of the revenue drop. There'll also be a number of sponsors that will not fancy spending money on a League One audience, but they would have done on a Championship audience because there'll be more opportunities for Sky TV and larger clubs, etc. So that's that. Michael, you can next slide.
Yeah, I'm going to hang on. Oh, just seeing Graham's comment, but not always the answer, but yeah.
Yes, it is. So as part of that, essentially, we today still have a staffing structure, non-playing staffing structure. Make that very clear: non-playing staffing structure that facilitates that revenue stream in the Championship. So. I think there was a lot of roles last year under Andy P, which were probably deemed nice to have, but not necessarily essential. I think, from what I understand, there's the largest social media team. Sorry, not social, but largest media team in the EFL. Full stop. So the only companies, the only businesses that have larger media teams in Argyle are in the Premier League. So that's one as an example. So I imagine last year there was a little bit of empire building going on with some heads of department. I would say that it felt from the outside, and I'm only giving my opinion here, not the club's opinion, that Andy P's probably let a bit go last year. And we are in a situation where the staffing levels don't meet the revenue. That's simple, right?
Yeah.
So why now and not in the summer? So the person I have most sympathy for here is the messenger in all this, which is unfortunately Paul Byrne. So he is a very astute businessman. I've had a couple of meetings with him before and in the past, and I've spoken to him regularly on a Saturday, and he's very sharp. He's a very sharp business guy. He's had to come in, and between January 1 and last week, he's had to assess the company situation. He is a chartered accountant by trade, so he will understand the numbers. He's been a CFO and he's been a CEO. And he would have had to have got his head in the bonnet and worked out what's going on, which is frustrating because, let's be honest, we all knew that we were going to be taking a haircut in revenue this year, because the minute that we were warming up at... When was it? Where were we warming up? When we were at Preston. When we were warming up at Preston and we were told we were down, and we still won the game. From that moment on, the CFO and the CEO and the chairman would have known revenue's going to drop next year. So you'd have thought, being prudent, that you would have let the season finish when everyone goes off on holiday. You'd have sat around a table and you'd have looked at the budget, which they'd have already prepared, because they'd have done a budget for Championship and they'd done a budget for League One. There would have been an opportunity there to look at reducing headcount and reducing payroll costs then. But for whatever reason, both David Ray and Andrew Parkinson let it drift, and they've both now left the club. And now we're in a situation where Paul Byrne's going to have to basically give the business the medicine, which I don't think he would probably wanted. And if he was going to take over, I'm sure he'd have wanted done this when he was a director of the business rather than CEO. But that's by the by. So the people I feel sorry for the most, as we probably all do, are the people that are concerned and that are in consultation. I hope that all of them get new roles really quickly within the facilities of Plymouth, and I hope they all get big stonking pay rises and get into positions that are suitable for their skill sets. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is a current management team fault. I think this is something that the business would have understood in May and should have dealt with probably in June and July, and then would have had all wrapped up in a bow for the first week of August, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But hey ho, that's where we are.
Just Gavin, I just spotted Mike Hawks' comment. He is in. He's driving up. Well, no, he's not driving, but he's being taken up. Hopefully, he'll join us still. Is Andy Parkinson? Is that the one who's now Tranmere number 2? Do we know where he went? Anyone?
I don't believe Andy Parkinson, who was our CEO. I don't believe he's got a new role.
No.
I might be wrong. I haven't really followed his career, I have to be honest. But I don't think he's got a role anywhere else. David Ray, who was our CFO, is now the CEO at Bolton Wanderers. Yeah, so it's a bit of a reunited up there with Shuey and all the other bits that are going on.
It's not. I mean, it's not to say that he jumped ship knowing what was coming. One question I did want to bring up on this, because I know it will. I'm expecting it to get asked, and a lot of people will still sort of look at Simon Hallett now. We've explained, or you have brilliantly before, about obviously his role as a non-exec chairman, and obviously leaving the club to be run by the C-suite. But he does get those obviously updates from the board.
Yeah.
And so there is an element where, could he have not also got them around the
No,
table?
I would say that that's a very fair assumption. He would have known. He's a very sharp guy too. He's an investment guy, as he keeps saying. He would have known there's been a dramatic reduction of revenue to a tune of somewhere between best case 20 and worst case 30%. And he would have, I think if this was one of his investment portfolios, he'd have been chewing on the CEO's ear saying, how are we going to negate that and what costs are we reducing? And he hasn't done it, probably because in this instance, A, he wears his heart on his sleeve. B, he doesn't treat this like any of his other investment portfolios because he doesn't. It's far too emotive for him. And C, he probably didn't want to make this decision because he knows it's going to affect the people of Plymouth, which he dearly cares about. Having said all that, it probably should have happened, right? So the last thing we want to do, and those of us who are old enough to remember the good old dark old days, when the electricity bill was being paid for by the current head coach and all that drama, we don't want to go back there. So that's where this seats. By the way, I have to say, having worked this out, and I can't remember if I've put it on the slides later on, this is 5% of the workforce if it is 20 bodies. 5%, right? So we're not talking about massive axes and chainsaws here and cutting off limbs. This is trimming your fingernails. In terms
is that all staff, including players and coach? Yeah,
5%. Yeah. So total staff of the business, it's 5%. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, I think if you go to the next slide, I can't remember if I put numbers in or not. Oh, I did. So okay, so we go. So the real issue and drop of income, which I've kind of already covered. So 28.9, I was 300 grand out of last season's revenue, which was, if you remember, from Paul Burns' fans forum, which I thought he did a really good job at, and you could kind of see that he was a shoo-in then for the CEO, the fact that Andy wasn't at that meeting and he delivered the numbers. We didn't have to be Mystic Meg to work that one out. But 28.9 million of revenue last year, so just shy of 29 million pounds, which included what you'd call fortune income. So the FA Cup run, I think, netted us just over £1 million, which was the TV and the gate receipts from Man City and Liverpool and Fulham, and not Fulham, Brentford and all that type of jazz. So there was that bit of fortune income from the FA Cup run, and we'd have had another, I think, £8.5 million or whatever it was for TV rights for last year. This year, looking at those numbers, I did a quick tot up this morning. We're going to do somewhere between 19 and 20 million this year. Okay, in my estimations, I can't remember what Paul said on the fans forum, but if people will go back, I'm sure he must have mentioned the forecasted revenue for this year. So 19 to 20 million quid. So we're talking 9 to 10 million pounds of reduction, which is, in any business, a ton of cash, right? To use an American term, an absolute ton of cash. So there we go. Next one. So what does redundancy mean? I don't know if anyone's been through redundancy or not or who's listening, but there is a process that's governed by English employment law for companies to do a fair and non-prejudice approach. So they'll look at all roles in the business. They'll then make the role redundant, and that's really important. So when I do this for a living, I try and sit with business owners and talk about that role. Is it needed? Because often the person doing the role and the role are very blurred. So, we can't get rid of Jeff because he's been here for ages and he's a nice guy and he walks my dogs on a Sunday. That really doesn't take it into consideration. It is looking at the business in its purest form. What do those roles entail? How do they help the business drive revenue, save costs, whatever, clean up, health and safety, compliance, whatever it is? Do those roles warrant moving forward with a loss of revenue? So you look at job titles and job roles as being the redundant bit, and then whoever's behind that job role, job title, if there's more than one or two, there's a fair and non-discriminative process that goes through that. In the real world, you probably say, who's the most expensive and can I get rid of them and not have a loss of production output or expertise? Okay, because that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to cut costs. But in the world of redundancy, that's what's meant to happen. So you have a consultation process, which the guys have all been through, because there's 20 or more. They're allowed to bring in an elected representative or a union rep, and then you basically get a consultation letter that says your job's at risk, right? And then you've got normally the consultation period's 30 days. So in that 30 days, if anyone else resigns or if there's a new revenue stream that comes in, anyone who's suitable for a new role can be basically offered to go and be interviewed for it and then find a different position within the organisation. That's what that means.
Yeah,
Fair selection's gone through.
Yeah, I was going to say that's an important part, isn't it? Because once you make a job role redundant, you cannot then, of course, re-advertise that. What's the period, Gav?
6 months.
Just reword it something else.
So if it was kit man, right, I'm making this up to go, and you made the kit man redundant, you obviously never would, but because you need kit. But if the kit man was made redundant, then and he was given redundancy pay, then you cannot hire another kit man with a similar job role or similar job title for 6 months. Okay,
yeah,
that's what that basically means.
I know we don't have Voodoo in, but when this news come out, I'm sure he was looking at whether or not they had TC on their list of roles for redundancy.
I think he made some kind of.
I'm sort of guessing, guys, that we don't know the extent of who's going to be made redundant, and does it affect Heather saying and Adam Sussex saying, has Felston Park got anything to do with it as well? Does that
the trust? The trust is a separate legal entity.
Yeah.
It's got its own P&L, it's got its own cash, it's got its own cash. So the trust is not involved in this, to my knowledge. It's just employees of the club.
So I'm just wondering, would it affect the women's team or not? Because I guess that's what
it won't affect the women's team, as in the players, but it might affect the coaching staff.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, from my understanding, and I haven't got this from anyone at high up, but I've got this from someone from the club. They've done a full drains up review of all departments.
Yeah,
so it's been fair,
which is what you'd expect.
Sorry,
yeah, which is what you'd expect, as you alluded to just now. You literally will.
So they'd have looked at the media, the support staff, the admin staff, the finance staff, the hospitality staff, the bar staff, everybody, the sales team, people who work for them at goals, blah, all that type of stuff would all have been taken into consideration, and they would look around evergreen and all that good stuff, right? What can't remember they're called. So anyway, so that's where it goes. You then have a consultation period. You then get paid a redundancy pay based on how long you've been in the business. It's generally, I think it's about a week for every year you've been in the company, broadly.
You've got to at least been over 2 years, haven't you?
You've got to be over 2 years, yeah. So if you've been there 2 years and a day, you might get a fortnight's redundancy pay, plus any outstanding holiday and any overtime due or whatever, plus your salary up to the point you're made redundant.
Yeah. Oh, just before we touch on this one, Matt's made a good point. Now, due to you cleared this up at the time when obviously everybody said, "Oh, well, why is he's loaning the club and he's charging them interest?" Well, in the States, you legally have to do that. You can't just give them a loan with no interest bearing. But Matt's saying would be interested to know, could Simon Hallett freeze any of those repayments on the loan made to the club?
What he will do is he'll roll the interest up. So the company won't physically probably pay him the loan or the interest back, but they'll roll it up onto the balance sheet essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will eventually, when it crystallizes, which is when he'll sell, he lent 2 million quid off memory at 2%, right? So the 2 million quid stays there. The 2% annually, which is 0.2 a month or whatever it is, 0.18 a month of interest will roll up, and then they'll get paid that back as and when. But there is nowhere in the world you can get a loan at 2%, right? Ever.
Was it 2 million or what? Because I mean, the other on Tuesday,
I have to go back and rewatch the video, but I'm 2 million for whatever rings a bell in my head, and he's charged 2% interest.
That's fine. Yeah.
Right?
Either way, he's given him a sizable loan, and I did point out on Tuesday as well, Gav, that he did say in that forum, didn't he, that like Jaina said, no more. That is it.
Yeah, it's tapped out, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, like I look at this from a business perspective and a fan's perspective. Why would you carry heads in a business when you don't need them, and they're going to eat away somewhere between 250 and 500,000 pound of cash?
Yeah.
To make a loss for you to put more money in, right? So even if Simon had another £1 billion in his pocket, quite frankly, why would anyone stick another £500,000 of their own cash a year in to bolster this up? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Don't think anyone else, if they're honest with themselves, on listening on the pod or on the pod, would do it either. So this has to happen. I think it's a bit of mismanagement. I think it's a bit of 9 mil was.
No, it was 9.8. The number I pulled out for Tuesday was 9.8 million.
Yeah, but that was for Folston.
Yeah.
There was, I think, a bit of a working capital loan at 2 million quid to prop up losses from this year. Now there's been a bit of revenue this year from signings, from selling players, from transfer fees. But again, I think that most of that's gone back in the pot. Some of it we spent on Curtis and other bits, but it's not as if we're swimming in cash. I think at the last balance sheet, I think there was 4.5 million of cash in the bank. I think from 10 million the year before. So they've squandered half 5 million quid in a year. So it's not perilous by any stretch. And I just want to let people sort of heart stop racing. This is not fatal, but this is good management now, because you cannot keep having incurred losses, especially when and I've been in situations where you've sat down with a team 6 weeks, 8 weeks after redundancy, and someone's gone, "Oh, where's Jeff? Is he on holiday?" And you go, "No, he was made redundant 2 months ago." "Oh, was he? Oh, I thought I hadn't seen him around." And that's when you know, my God, what were we doing here with all these people that weren't even missed? So there might be a bit of that within this ranks. There might be some people that generally are, but anyway, it is what it is. So just going to the numbers, 20 redundancies, what does it do and what does it don't in terms of fixing stuff? So there's 392 direct employees, which include staff. So it's 5% of the workforce, as I mentioned. My crude estimate, it's about $500,000 of payroll savings, right? Based on, I've done the number of people against the pay that they get, divided it up and then weighted it essentially. So I reckon there's about $500,000 of savings annually, which is not an insignificant amount of money, let's be candid, in any business, but especially in one that's already looking to lose probably $1 million, $1.5 million this year. So that will pull some of that back.
It's probably playing it safe, Gav, because that's an equivalent of really what minimum wage is now, isn't it?
Yeah. But I as I say, I haven't got the number, so I've made a crude estimate, right? But $500,000 quid, might be more than that, it might be 600,000-700,000, I don't know. But if it's £500,000, you know what? That's made a big dent, right? And what will this do? Well, we might go up next year, as someone said earlier in the playbook. But I still think even if we go up next year, we probably don't need all these roles back anyway.
Yeah, and actually, not to make this sound worse than it is, but obviously, if we don't go up, there's nothing to say, depending on what happens over that summer, that there won't be some more redundancies, because naturally, you have to constantly evaluate the situation of the business.
Mike, I would say there probably won't be. So
hopefully not. No.
In turnaround, you have a saying, right? You cut deep, you heal fast. So you don't keep chipping away, because otherwise you get all this negativity around the business, around the press. So you do it deep, you bin it off, you heal, you move on. So I don't think there'll be another round in the summer.
No,
I think they'll assess now for what they need for next season, and that will be the level that they make. That's my gut feel on it.
You've got to look at it. You've got rid of some of the players who are the high earners, your Mumbas, your Zooks, and Andrew just mentioned Amici there. I mean, Amici's on the high earner. So maybe if he...
Yeah, but he's around. He ain't going anywhere, and we're not going to buy him out of his contract because it will be suicide. But the £500,000 quid is probably the tune of one decent player in the squad, right? And that's where I think some of the fans get teasy, because it's like 20 members of the staff getting the tin tack. Yeah, it's probably one player's salary. So they'll be saying, well, why can't we get rid of one player? Well, we can't, because they've got very nice, cushy and pretty waterproof and airproof and everything else contracts, footballers. So they have the very unshitty end of a stick, whereas anyone else working in a football club is open to this type of procedure. The only flip side is a footballer might only get a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year deal, and they're out the door. Some of these people will be here for years and years and years on a normal permanent contract. So that's the yin and the yang. Is it nice? No. But I think we're probably punching above our weight in terms of revenue in this league this year, even at 90 or 20 million. I can't see many clubs being more than that. Maybe Bradford, Bolton, Cardiff, maybe Reading, if they're getting 20 or 1,000 a week. So the ones with bigger grounds and who have had that Premier League sort of history. It won't be Wigan, who had like 45 people, a dog and a carrot in the stands on Tuesday night for a 25-seater stadium, but that's what it is. So that's really what the redundancies do. I can't remember if there's another slide, Mike. Is there or not?
No, it's not after that one. But,
okay, so that was what 15 minutes or so of just this is what the redundancies are. Just to reiterate, from my perspective, this is not back to the darker days of admin or anything along those lines. This is a really good preventative piece of management that Paul's overseen, in my opinion. I don't know it for a fact, but it feels like that way. In order to redress the balance. Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be roles there that are nice to have. There'll be lots of Venn diagrams with lots of overlap of people that are doing half a job each and they're being paid 2 salaries and all that good stuff that goes on in organizations of this size. That's where we are. So hopefully this gets done. Hopefully all these people are out in interviews as we speak and they've all got good CVs and they're all getting jobs imminently and they don't have a single day of being unemployed. That'd be the ideal scenario.
No,
I have. Good question there, Andrew just brought in about does Starmer need to be a little bit fussy about who the maybe potential new investors are? I think he has to govern that and keep an eye on that, because if you just go and get any old investor and who's going to, take your money, thank you very much, and then all of a sudden you get a chance Harry, then you're dealing with the worst situation. So I think fussy, isn't he?
I think Simon's probably now looking at all options to either the club to be sold lock stock or to have a minority investor, which grows to eventually take the business. And he's got an investment bank looking at this for him. Again, this is part of my day job too, which is bringing in buyers and bringing in investors. I'm sure it's being run meticulously, the process, and I'm sure that there are interested parties they're speaking to as we speak. And if we've gone on a run and all that good stuff that goes with it, and we've maintained revenue this year, we've got a good coach, so all those things will be beneficial towards bringing in either a new owner or a part owner via a part exit. So
I'm just going to bring, if it will work, come on, bring Heather in because she's now in the lobby. So let's get us up to 4. The what I will add to it, and I'll get Heather's thoughts because obviously Heather will know a number of people there, may know some that are affected. But it's having worked with who I've worked with for 20 years, definitely being frugal and shrewd. With everything that you do, and as the saying goes, and I learned this very well from Chris Dawson, is look after the pennies, and the pennies will look after the pounds, and you won't believe at how sort of things early days. I joined, we were on 19 stores then, and it's crazy now. It's 282 and nearly 2 billion turnover, and things like you'd print out paper and read a report and let's say put it in the recycling bin. He would walk around, and he won't mind me saying this, but he would pick up that bit of paper and go, well, the other side's blank because we didn't print double-sided. And he would say, turn that all over then and put it back in the printer. He would turn lights off, which was always interesting. If you were in the toilet, you would just open the door, go the lights on and turn it off. That's just the way he thinks. And you start to think the same way, but it's not, well, why'd you do it? What's the point in doing that? But it's all those things over the years that do add up. It sounds silly at times, but when you're looking at it on a bigger decision point of view, everything is not personal, it's business, and you've got to do what's right for the business to make sure that the business can continue to sustain itself and employ the people that are left to employ. So I've been through a redundancy prior to joining the range. It isn't nice, but sometimes, and that business folded, but sometimes you have to do these things to shore it up. And I think, as Gavin said, and that's how I've seen it with Paul, Paul seems to have that understanding of knowing what needs to be done. And other people may well have to take on more and have a bit more responsibility. You didn't always get these luxuries. Like I was saying on Tuesday, you want to spend $2,000 on that camera. Well, can £1,000 camera do the job? Oh, well, it can, but this one's like really cool. Well, doesn't matter though, does it? You've got to think everything in a sensible way, not just because it would be nice to have, but what will get the job done, is the other way of looking at it. Heather, and thank you, Gav, for going through that. And the comments as well have been great. Heather, anything that you want to add or even ask about that we've gone through there?
No, obviously, like, I've not really heard much rumours, like, in the women's side of things, like, if anyone's been affected. But obviously, it came out, like, after our game. But it was more just the fact, obviously, was the women's going to be affected? Because I know we do rely on the men's income to also supplement the women's income as well, to help with that. So it's more because the men are having an issue with the club, like, is the women's team now going to be not like dumped, but like less resources available, especially when we're doing like so well at the minute?
I would say so. Christian looks after is the exec member of the women's team. He's done a very good job this year at bringing in commercial partners. More so, I think, than a lot of the other teams in the league. So J2O on the front, which is obviously owned by Britvic. Wrigley's on the arm. So I imagine they've gone in this year, dipped their toe in. If we go up, I would imagine they'll be asked to go again, but with a slightly different size check. So off memory from the forum, the women's team costs £300,000 a year to run, and it gets about £100,000 of commercial revenue in. I imagine on a match day, apart from the odd game, it makes a loss because there's staffs and stewards and blah, blah, blah. And there's 1,000 fans. So they're probably not making much over the bar or much over the kiosk, but a bit. But I reckon for next year, if they do go up, if that is the route, I reckon that Christian will do a pretty good job in securing some partners he's probably already talking to right now, to try and get them over the line for next year. So, because I asked Derek Adams, it sat at a ladies' match in my seat, in my diamond seat, and Derek Adams sat about 4 rows across, and it was his first week, and I said, "Oh, Derek, if we go up, gonna put a bit more budgie at the women's team." He was, "Oh, well, we haven't discussed that one yet. He'd only been in 5 days. I think it was his 6th day of his job, so I'm not expecting him to answer, but." It's 200 grand, right? It's probably Zach Baker's salary, putting it into context.
Yeah. It's one of those, well, if we're in WSL2, we probably get more commercial.
You'll get more money
as well.
And also there'll be bigger crowds, Heather. I think there'll be 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 at most games because you'll be playing bigger clubs. There'll be bigger away fans. There'll be more interest. I think the Exeter game did a really good job on that. So on my personal view, for what it's worth, knowing a little bit about the club and a little bit about some of the officers there, I don't think they'll slash the women's budget because they've done such a good job. If anything, I think they'll look to put a bit more at it if they get promoted, and then they'll look to bring in more. I think they'll heavily pack the corporate partners and maybe run hospitality every Sunday and that type of stuff to bring in some extra revenue.
That's what they want to try. Just need to get the numbers there.
Yeah. But if there's 1,000 people at a game, which there is now broadly every game, 10% of them go and have hospitality in the corner at 100 covers, you're going to make your money, aren't you? So, putting it into perspective, it might be a Zach Baker and a half, 2 Zach Bakers, right? Now, on that basis, you're not going to really worry, are you? It's pennies compared to what the first team spend. I think their wage bill is £8 million.
I'm conscious of time because we're 40 minutes in, and Stephen Cooper, I learned within the first month or so. Sean, who's worked when we've been at the Rangers a bit longer, worked closely with him over the years. Even in Sean, he does watching. He told me very early on, and then I did have Chris always come in the room and we talk about it in the laugh and joke. But as Stephen Cooper said, yes, you'd only invest in something that makes money, which is why he's made his money. So I'm just going to quickly flip back to the slide deck, because turning what is a bit of a difficult and negative message into then a positive. So we're going to move on now to Tuesday night's game, and obviously the playoffs. I'm not my usual energetic self tonight. I'm sat down, as some of you may have noticed, because I'm suffering with a head cold quite bad today. But yeah, we did win on Tuesday night. It was a brilliant game, 3-0. And obviously that secured us League One status. And it's not just cleverly. Carl put out a post on our socials afterwards, and it's been an incredible achievement. But it's by everybody involved in the club. Yes, for those that are still believers with Derek, well, not just believers, but those that feel Derek Adams has had a big influence. Absolutely. And thank God that Simon Hallett and Paul Byrne and whoever else organised that. But we just wanted to, before we go into the highlights of that game, just touch upon that great escape, call it, and there may still be a chance for us to get in the playoffs and go up, which would just be nuts, because what a challenge that would be. But you also wouldn't turn it down. But it would be nice to have some fun between now and then. So we did have our low period early November when we were 24th bottom of the league, only 13 points, a -10 goal difference with 4 wins, 1 draw and 10 defeats. It was painful, as we all remember, in that time. And then things started to turn. Obviously, a couple of sign-ins with Talai, Curtis, etc. We started to build some momentum. And obviously, we ended Tuesday 10th. We didn't move up a league position from Saturday, but it was vital getting that win. 52 points, the magic number to secure your position. A +3 goal difference, so a swing of 13 goals. And I believe I saw earlier today or yesterday that we've now equaled our record away goals scored, and the season hasn't finished yet. And I think we're right up there with either first or second in terms of the most goals scored away from home. Good. So in that turn since November, we've had 16 wins, 4 draws and 16 defeats, if that's right, those numbers, contending for a playoff obviously finish now. So it's a swing of 39 points, 14 places climbed, and like I said, that 13 goal difference. I would normally be a lot more happy and would have energized and cheered that at the start. I just don't have the energy. But Andy, give Gavin's vocal cords a bit of a rest. Are you, I mean that in a nice way, obviously. It is a hell of a turnaround. And to think where we were then to now really contending for the playoffs. From the last few weeks, it's been, you're all talking stupid, and then we go and get 2 defeats, and we go and get 3 wins on the bounce and a defeat. And, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's absolutely incredible. You think of the team we've had the squad we've had this season has been ravaged from, all over the place, defense, goalkeepers. The whole team is it's been hit, hasn't it, massively by the injuries and stuff. We all know that. But still cleverly managed to get the best out of the players at his disposal. With the one little blip out, Rotherham, we've done really well. Deserve to be where we are now. And I think, we said last Thursday, didn't we, about they won't win playoffs. If it did go up, it'll be travesty. I think it'd be actually good.
It'd just be difficult. It would be very difficult.
But with the playing squad we got at the minute, with the players we got there, and we can keep hold of some of those players, we got a good chance to at least consolidate in the champ next season. Wouldn't rule it out. Really wouldn't rule it out. A lot of praise has got to go to Cleverly. And I know people will say, especially voodoo people like that will say, Derek Adams is coming in and taking over that helm of it. And I think he's been there, but he's been a good presence for him, and he's got alongside him. And who better to do that than Derek Adams? To get Cleverly, winning games. Because he wasn't getting that many wins at Watford, was he? Let's be honest about it.
It's second half,
right around, and our away form is incredible. I mean, who'd have thought? I got what 10 away games we've won now, is it? In League and Cup, so it's massive. Absolutely, massive.
I will, Gav, get you some thoughts on it. We will obviously do. I'm looking to schedule a few people in. I won't name who at the moment, but yeah, there's a couple of people that are sort of going to come on over the next as we enter April into May when the season comes to an end, and we'll properly digest it. But Gavin, add your bit to that, and also this man here who, along with a couple of other key players, Curtis being absolutely one of them, have just, for Pepple, he's just changed his season, hasn't he, from the first half to the second half?
Yeah, he's a bit of an enigma now. Looking back, I think Cleverly's done a really good job here, because he's took the pressure off of Senni and Pepple by saying they're projects, don't worry, they'll come good, and they must have known they were rough diamonds. But I don't know who said it in the week. somebody was being interviewed saying, that I think it might be TC said that through October, November, there was one person staying behind after training, and it was Ben Peppel, and he was there every day, and he was working hard and working hard and working hard. And I recently had a meeting in the Royal William Yard, and him and Aaron Cusack were intently having a conversation around tactics and bits and bobs over a cup of tea. It's the most intense.
They didn't recognise you, Gav, from across the table. They didn't recognise you from across the tables.
No, mate, no, they didn't. No. I've got a face for radio, you know that. But yeah, so he's clear if he's working 1-to-1, which I know a lot of the players have. Ryan Hardy did, Aaron Randall did, etc., etc. If he's working 1-to-1 with Aaron, then he's obviously investing in his own future, his own skill set, and it's paying dividends. And what I love about him is he's one of the most humble guys going. He comes across as an arrogant so-and-so on the pitch, sitting on the hoardings, and I thought he was going to do what Contemponey did years ago for rugby for Bristol. He scored a try, jumped over the hoardings, sat down on an empty seat and started applauding himself, which is one of the best celebrations of any try I've ever seen. But for him sitting on the advertising hoardings, the only thing he needed to have done was just clapped, and that would have been class. But on the pitch, he's got his strength, upper body strength. You know, he's got the ball. He's trying to be. You just see like bowling pins of centre halves being dispersed everywhere. He's learnt the art of poaching goals now and taking a chance and being in the right place at the right time. He scored a couple of spectacular goals from outside the box with his right and left foot, which is another big skill set to have. He wins the ball in the air, and you know, as TC said today, I think in the press conference, he's one of the hottest tickets in town at the minute for the division, probably for the EFL.
And he's only 23.
and he is, you know, he is absolutely giving himself a pat on the back for that hard work. But I will also say, and we had this conversation, I think, under Rooney's time and maybe our dear friend, Mr. Charisma, Mr. Foster's time, saying, how many players can you actually say improved under their coaching? Well, there's 4 or 5 this year that I think have just become completely different players. And this man is in the front of the queue. He has been sublime over the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And it is funny now because we're going to places where they're fearing him. And I think all of us are still seeing the Ben Peppel of October, November, where he couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. Bless him. But now he is absolutely on it. And, you know, he deserves every single accolade he got. He had a really rough start in the club, as did Brendan Wiradu. It's just a pleasure to see the smile on the guy's face now, and all that hard work that him and the staff and the coaching team and Cleverly have put in to him is paying dividends. So, you know, I think everybody concerned, but especially him for doing what he's done, deserves every single bit of credit.
Yeah, and what is really, really scary is when we haven't seen really Aseni get back in. Obviously, he's been in several of the starting lineups, but not pitting. And also, it's Huddersfield. I'll come to the press conference bits in a minute. Huddersfield on March the 21st at home is when Laurent Talai is expected to be back. So if we can, between Reading and Stevenage, who's not at home, if we can get a couple of results there, then that could actually be an incredible run to the end, because teams are not going to want to handle those two up front.
The only I'll caveat that is I think that Talai is going to need 2 or 3 games to get back into his rhythm.
Yeah, he will. But Gavin, he absolutely 100%. But also, he's going to be absolutely on it, because he knows Peppel's got 2 more games where he could still score a few goals. And he's chomping.
Realistically, could be joint top scorer by the time Talai comes back. And they both could get 20, which is unheard of, right?
I had a conversation earlier on today, actually, Gav. Now you said 20 goals, right? If Peppel and Talai get 20 goals apiece this season, who are the last 2 Argyle strikers partnership to do that? I'm thinking Mara Rafferty, but if anyone knows in the comments section, please, you know.
Steve will probably find out.
Tynan and Clayton, maybe?
Clayton didn't get 20, I don't think. I think you'll find it might have been Mara Rafferty, but I'm not 100% sure.
It might be as far back as that, but I don't know. The promotion year under Dave Smith, Tynan, although Steve Cooper was around as well, and he played up top quite a bit. I don't know. It might be. I know regularly Tynan got 30 odd. So if someone got got 20, but you're right. I think it's very, very unusual for two strikers in the same team. Well, these day and age, you don't play two up top, so it's very, very hard for anyone to score 20 and 20 because they're normally on rotation. But if and it's a big if, touch wood, if Talai comes back and it's the ground running, 11 games in will be the semi-final of the playoffs. 12 games in will be the second leg of the playoff semi-final, and his 13th game back will be the playoff final. And if they're both cruising at that stage, then we can beat anyone in this division. End of conversation. It'd be nice to get Cardiff back in the final and beat them 5-2 again at Wembley, wouldn't
it? And there is no release clause, Andrew, as I think you know by now. But you are his number one fan, Andrew, so you should really know, shouldn't you? But yeah, Pepple doing a brilliant job and absolutely should take as much of the what do you call it, the vibe from saying, yeah, that this is doing the job. Right, let's turn it up a notch and let's get to the highlights of Tuesday. Just as I go to it, I did do the watch along with Harvey, which was good fun. Obviously, when you're playing well, it definitely helps. Gavin saw it as well. Andy's caught up with the game, and what a game it was. So let's start with the highlights from that match. 2 out of 3. Come on, Restream. 2 out of 3 incredible goals. It clearly doesn't want to show us because it won't. There we go. There we go. My first chance, and Taylor did well here, but his finish, thank God, was shocking. I think Edwards did well, to be fair, with him turning left, turning right. Edwards did well to stay with him. So Boateng does really well here because he gets in front of the keeper, jumps up before him, and the keeper then just couldn't grab the ball. And brilliant instinctive stick your leg out from Pepper. Now, they don't show up the build-up to this goal because there's so much more to it, but just brilliant. And it starts with Gale on the left-hand side before going across field to Curtis to find Edwards, to find Boateng, to find him. And this coming up now is 100% a stone wall penalty. I don't even get how the liner or the ref didn't give it. Boateng, I ain't got the energy for that tonight, Terry.
That's a good header right there as well.
Yeah. Gale, who was my man of the match, but him and Boateng almost neck and neck. This is beautiful football. Curtis to Boateng to Edwards. And I don't know what this defender was doing. He almost seemed to want to tap it into his own goal. Missed. And again, can we take the moment for another fabulous assist from Boateng?
Joe Edwards, again, playing a role in all 3 goals, I guess.
Well, he was in his right-back role, but he likes to overlap, doesn't he, and get forward. So
Boateng's superb.
He banked break.
Nice.
Yeah, Taylor again missing a good chance. I mean, how empty as well was that stadium there? I think, was there a rugby game on that night, Gav? But it was empty.
The Wigan Warriors get 3-4 times that.
Yeah. Look, they've always suffered with that, haven't they? But no, I think overall, as you know, commentating on the game, it was just a breath of fresh air. Argyle, how they usually start away, pressing high, pressing hard, not giving Wigan any chance on the ball. Again, frustrating the back four, having to always bring it back. The midfield not being able to get forward. They couldn't find any outlets. And all the first half, Argyle had several chances before that, but just couldn't quite convert. And you were starting to think, oh, we need to start converting. Luckily, Taylor did miss that chance you saw at the start. But the second half, I think it's probably fair, Gav, that Wigan did come back in to the game a little bit. There was that handball, which would have probably turned it a bit in their favour. Definitely handball. But yeah, Argyle just sort of got back into it. They sort of took advantage, didn't they? Because Wigan were absolutely going apoplectic, not being given that penalty. And it sort of caught them a little bit at 6s and 7s. And obviously we had a couple of corners and a couple of chances, which then led to us getting that third goal.
Yeah. I've never seen such a flat side at home in the first half as Wigan. They were awful. And they crapped themselves every time we put a big press on. They just kicked the ball out of touch. I think there was like 6-7 opportunities in the first 20 minutes where we've pressed, they've just kicked it off the field. It was like watching children. Second half, they were much stronger. I think 2 subs at halftime really changed the game for them.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
and made
Hongbo
them
was one of them
more
who was
aggressive with the
good.
ball, aggressive without the ball. I thought they took the midfield battle to us. Taylor's a threat up top, isn't he? He's got good pace, and he's a Huddersfield player, isn't he?
He is.
Why the hell in God's earth Huddersfield got rid of him and then signed Ryan Hardy is beyond me. But anyway, there we are. Is what it is. He'll be have a point to prove. Maybe get him down next year to play with Peppel and Tulai. But yeah, they were good to a fault. I thought Ashby Howan pulled off a couple of good saves within that and commanded his box pretty well. Come out for a couple of crosses, and it was I mean, we were never really threatened. It was the biggest volleyball spike you'll ever see, though. Mackenzie's handball, it was ridiculous. TC said today how it's not been given is beyond me, but we deserve a few of them because we've had a lot go not our way all year. So, is what it is. And the third goal I thought was epitome of us sort of breaking and transitioning, and we were like that all second half. So I think even if they had scored that penalty, I think we'd have transitioned and put 1 or 2 away. How in God's earth Tickle gets that header down from the corner from Dale to go over the bar from under the crossbar is beyond me with his feet. That's a hell of a save. Normally they just hit the crossbar and go in or go in the back of the net. And I think Dale needs a goal to get a bit of confidence, and then I think he'll start flying too. Although I thought he had a very productive game.
Great game.
So they were there for the taking, and we took them essentially. It was as simple as that.
Mike highlighted it earlier on the build up for the second goal. It started in the sort of on the left hand side with Dale. But nowhere to go. He just played the ball back. I think it was to Mackenzie. The Mackenzie across to Ross over to Mitchell, and Mitchell to Edwards, and it just all began from there. It was a brilliant move, and then the ball was sort of, before you know it, it's in the box, and Boateng's put it across for the goal. It's an amazing goal. Really,
it was just they were 2 great. I mean, the teamwork was brilliant all match, but those 2 goals were absolutely brilliant team football. It was Dale just calm and collected all game. He didn't try and rush it forward or try and cross it. And we've been critical of his final ball. He sort of looked at the situation and can see we had a straight line of players to feed it out to the other end. And as you just said, it went through all of them. And then Boateng with that great run. Actually, the Curtis pass to Edwards was right along the touch line, and so superbly placed for Edwards to then run onto it. It drew a second defender towards Edwards, which then opened up the gap for Boateng to run in and take
his legs as well. That was the good part about it. He just put it right through the first defender's legs, and it landed at Boateng's feet.
What they've managed to do without having to lie is go back to a 4-2-3-1. Watts is the advanced. They play a diamond like that, and then when we're attacking and flick it round when we're defending. So it's Boateng and I need to Ralls then because he's playing that well. Boateng and Herbie when we're defending. When we go forward, they both go forward and Herbie hangs back, and they are between them. They're causing havoc in the middle of that midfield. So if we keep to that, then I think we'll for the moment this system's doing well for the players that we have available.
And what's encouraging too as well, Gab, is that we've got a clean sheet. That's going to do Ashby Havens' confidence a world of good, isn't it? Get a clean sheet.
100% agree.
Definitely.
Ross and Mitchell at the back just were excellent because both fullbacks were gone. They were overlapping to hell, and we're sometimes on the right and left wingers position, but the back 2 I thought were excellent.
Yeah, and also just a note, see it in the comment. I haven't read many out just purely because, guys, sorry, I haven't got the energy to. But yeah, someone just mentioned, Mark actually mentioned Edwards, Dale, Boateng and Watts were on fire. Watts definitely, Gav had a better game. Seemed to be a little bit more settled. Still not, not as impactful as he was, but I think he just needed a good, solid game, didn't he? Of not trying to be hot-headed, not trying to do too much. He did get another yellow card, but he was definitely more composed, I suppose.
It's the system, Mike. So when we play 4-2-3-1, him and Boateng and Peppel and Curtis and Dale and Kane are all much closer together in the middle of the field. That's when he's at his most effective. On the spring press, Peppel leads it. He's second there. When we play 4-4-2, sometimes our midfield and our top two are so distant that he struggles, and then he'll try and over press because that's his character, and then he gives silly things away. So it definitely suits him in being in behind the striker as part of that diamond, most definitely.
Yeah, and one player we haven't noted, but definitely alludes to what you're saying, which allowed Edwards obviously to go back to his favoured right back role, is Kane starting the game. Again, as we said on Saturday, Boateng does enjoy knowing and trusting that the guy alongside him is going to be able to do his job, and so he can get on and do what he needs to do without worrying so much. And it was so clear in the game at home the other day of the initial start. But it just goes to show it's important that we try and keep Kane fit, because even if Weiradu, obviously who came on for some minutes, it doesn't work as well. So touch wood everywhere. That happens. Let's hear from the gaffer. Let's run these videos now, if it will work. Oh, there we go.
Gaffer, I'm trying to think of the best word to describe tonight. Comprehensive, that's quite a good one, isn't it? We felt like we were in control of that for a long time.
Yeah, I think we were outstanding tonight. I think the adversity and in the preparation is it's irrelevant when you can be as resilient as this group is, as together this group is, and perform to that level. It's a benchmark. Certainly, I thought first half and second half. I think there was a bit of game management, managing bodies in game and with our substitutes, because we've got a huge week ahead of us now.
Oh, and then let's get it was Watts who was interviewed, so let's get him up.
Okay, it feels like we did every facet of the game tonight. We worked hard, and then we got some nice goals as well. You contributed with the third one. It's a pleasing night for everyone.
Yeah, really pleasing. I thought it was a really complete performance from us today. We changed system a little bit, but I think we look really comfortable, and it's a really good 3 points away from home.
Yeah, let's go on to that then, because I was going to ask about it. On Saturday, I think in the second half you dropped a little bit deeper, and then today we saw the slight change to the midfield. Talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, obviously on Saturday they were having a bit of joy in midfield, so we dropped a man back to help with the seconds. And it's a position I enjoy, I'm comfortable in, and the gaffer's gone for the same thing tonight. And I think we had a lot of success with it, like getting numbers around the ball, joining in the box, and I think you could see, it paid off tonight for sure.
Just laughing at Nicky's banter with, is it Mark and then Andy, another Andy in there, about Mackenzie as well, is 90 minutes. And Nicky saying, and he made a great save too. That it was. But I think... oh, go on.
Do you think Caleb Watt got better on Tuesday because he watched the women on Sunday?
Oh, wow.
Maybe.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Gavin, did you get better this week having watched the women on Sunday?
I get better every week watching the women on Sunday, mate. My middle name is Kaizan. I'm just a continual improvement.
I didn't mean that actually to come out wrong. I just sat here and thought that could have come out wrong.
No, it did. That's why I gave you the answer I gave you. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for digging me out of that. I just noticed earlier, actually, that Aston Villa have beaten Lille in the round 16 of the Europa League.
Or Lily.
Those that care. Right, so I am going to go into the press conference because I'm conscious of the time. So let's get the thoughts ahead of Reading, because we haven't even done that yet. I don't know if Mike is, I can't see him in the lobby, so I can see he's still in the chat. So if he's not anywhere soon, I do have a little short video from him. But TC said, momentum is one of those things. It's tough to get hold of. And easy to lose. We have to work harder than ever now. No complacency, which I've seen no hint of. We've got a good account of ourselves on Boxing Day, but they had some areas which I thought were some of the best in the league. We have solutions for that. We're going in there in good spirits, and it will be great to be part of that game. Next one, let's wait for it to load. On the team news, he said for Stevenage, we are expecting Brendan Galloway, Connor Hazard, and Eamon Benarouz back. For Laurent Talai, it will be Huddersfield. On Matty Soranola, he said that he doesn't look like he needs surgery, but we're likely to see him again this season. On Wes Harding, I thought this was interesting, actually. He said he's a fantastic character. He was in the dressing room on Tuesday and was as much of a leader as Joe Edwards. I want players in and around it for their off-field input, even while they're not able to play. I thought that was great. And then it was Malachi Boateng. That's the best I can do tonight. One more from TC. Apologies. On the Argyle sellout following at Reading, he said, I'm hugely proud and honoured to be leading the guys out in front of those fans. It will feel like a real significant moment on Saturday. There's been a lot of excitement around the training ground this morning. The players know exactly how many fans will be there. And you know full well that they're going to be up to make amends for that Boxing Day. Boateng then, this time now, says, it's a great run. I'm enjoying my football. Obviously, he started every game and helping the team as much as I can. Everyone goes out there to put on their best performance. The boys are in a good place at the moment. We are happy. He said, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but I think the playoffs is ultimately the target. We'll focus on that, but take each game as it comes. The boys are on a good run. The boys go into games thinking they can win and are at it. And finally, from Malachi, let's wait for that to load. He's quite versatile. He says, I do enjoy trying to get forward. And that's where Kane being alongside him, someone like that does make a massive difference. He loves to get forward. It's easier to do when I'm playing higher up. Getting assists is something I've looked at. We've just seen 2 of them again from Tuesday night. He tries to work hard on. It's something I haven't done as much in the past, but I'm happy to see to be contributing this season. On starting every league match, because he is the only Argyle player to have done that, he said, it's where you want to be as a midfielder, playing more games. The more games I play, the fitter I feel. When you are recovering right, it helps you going into the next game. You don't think about fatigue. It's all about helping as much as you can. Considering all the injuries, he, along with the likes of Edwards and Mitchell and that, have been characters to sort of look on, I suppose, from being generally injury-free. Well, certainly Mitchell and Boateng. On Argyle's sellout following, he said, it's just amazing. The support this season has been spectacular, even at times when we were struggling. He said they've been a key part to why we're winning on the road. We want to put on a show and do well for them and give something back to the fans that help us every away game. So yeah, it's good from Boateng. Gavin, did you get the chance to see the presser this time? Yeah, anything else to bring from that?
Not really. It's Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday. So it's kind of a regurgitating a lot of old pony, really. It was nice to see TC having a bit of a joke and a laugh with some of the journalists, which was nice. He's obviously a lot more relaxed now than he was a few weeks ago. Malachi speaks quite well. Which is nice, but I think at the moment they're all just like, this is unnecessary noise. We just want to concentrate on Saturday and keep winning. So there was nothing really else to report from what you said.
No, that's fine. I'm going to play. I can't see that he's snuck into lobby. Has he said something in the comments? I can see he's been commenting away. Hi, Mike. That's someone else. That's fine. Not going to be on. I think I just saw there. So I'll just run his little 1.5-minute clip that he recorded for us all. So let's get Mike, the Reading fans and Block 9 podcast fans' view on what he thinks Saturday's going to look like. Right, come on, restream.
Hi.
Right, here we go.
So I can't be on tonight, but on my way to Wales first. Reading Friday. Have a big game on Saturday. My thoughts on the game? Well, I think it'll be a close game. It's going to sound weird, but I hope it was a draw, really, because your way form's really good. We lost, as you know, on Tuesday to Mansfield. Before that, it was unbeaten in 6. Players to look out for, the usual: Charlie Savage, do a swing outside the box. And Kamari Doyle's coming on really well at the minute. He's lightning quick down that side. We always concede. We always concede a goal. We can guarantee that. Always concede. It's going to be a good game. I mean, you'll be the noisiest people there. 2,900. I hope it's a good game. We're aiming to keep that gap between us. Extend it back to 6 between us and Argyle because we were still on the edge of the playoffs. We are looking forward to it. It's going to be a very, very, very good game, I think. And obviously, you got your danger win, obviously, you got your injuries, but the result you had the other night, we stood up and take notice of that. Great result for you at Wigan. I mean, obviously, Ben Pepple's in form, and even your keeper Ashley Hammond kept a clean sheet. But really, really looking forward to the game. Maybe we'll see something out there. Oh, Gav, don't forget, me and you have that selfie, mate, Saturday. Let's all enjoy it. So again, so I can't be on. I'll definitely be on Saturday. Win, lose or draw. See you all.
Yeah, there we go. Let's get back to that screen. As Mike says, he's definitely got a face for radio. No, you're
like
fine.
a fan club going.
Yeah. Take the pressure off me.
He has seen my face, hasn't he? He ain't blind. He wants to self whatever. Yeah, fine. Come and see me elsewhere. I'm actually staying at the Voca Hotel, so I'm staying in the ground.
Oh, yeah, okay. Nice. Just to give a bit of a league table, as my nose is running, apologies, folks. So, obviously, we're in 10th on that magical 52 points. Reading are on 54. The last place in the playoffs is Huddersfield Town in 6th. They are, I will add, on the same number of played games. It's Stockport who are on 34. So, I've got a couple of games advantage there on 56 points. So it really is more likely that 6th place, but they're on 55 points. So
form's horrendous.
It's up for grabs, I reckon.
Yeah, Huddersfield's form is
Stockport will not finish in the playoffs.
Do you know? No, they've in the last 5 they've lost 3, drawn 1, and won 1.
Their form's gone the ratchet. They won't finish in the playoffs.
Huddersfield lost 3, 1, 2, and they won their recent game. Reading's is 2 draws, 2 wins, and a loss in that order. The loss being the latest game. Stevenage as well, win or lose, 2 wins and a loss. And Wickham who are sat above us as well. So the only team that's really got a bit of an advantage is Stevenage on 35 games played, plus 2 goal difference though, so we're actually ahead of them. But you are talking Huddersfield on plus 10, Reading, on plus 6, and Wickham on plus 13. So yes, if we get enough goals, we could jump Reading depending on other results as well. That's how close it is. Head-to-head wise, let's see what they've got. There it is. On FOTMob here. 4 wins to Reading, 3 draws, and nothing to Argyle, actually. So I think, though, Andy, we're going to go into this game, like I said just now, reading out the press conference with renewed vigour because of another great win, back-to-back wins, but also they will really want to make amends for that disaster of a Boxing Day fixture.
Yeah, there's the Boxing Day fixture, but also you look at that little blip they had against Rotherham. They're going to want to put that right as well, aren't they? So they did it on Tuesday night. We've got a good chance to go there on Saturday and give Reading a good game. I think Mike, in honesty, I think he wants a draw, and I'll settle for a draw as well up there. It's going to be a tough place to go to. They haven't got Marriott in the side at the moment, which is good. But this other guy who scored a hat-trick the other week is just as good, probably. We can keep a tab on their pacey wingers, then there's no say we can go and win there. But I think a draw will be probably safe bet.
But no players back, Gav, for Saturday then, from the sounds of it. They're all coming the game after.
And...
as long as there's no more injuries, we don't find out.
I actually think this does us a bit of a favour because this team's now 1-2 on the bounce, although you could say that the Donny at home was underwhelming. They still got over the line and got the game won. The team that finished that game anyway. I think they're in confidence. They're not going to be tired. Maliki Boateng said today, we don't even think about that now. It's just part and parcel of the job. And when you're winning, you don't feel tired, which is true. Playing rugby in the front row for years, if you're winning, you don't feel tired at scrum time. If you're losing, you certainly do, especially pulling yourself up from the wet. So I get that experience piece. I think they're playing in such a way now where this formation fits this team. What's going to be interesting will take a bit of transition is when Tolly's back, Galloway potentially, etc. There'll be an opportunity to change the formation potentially back to 4-4-2. I'm not sure, but they're all full of confidence, and I think now there's a bit of a like free punt mentality. We'll just go and play with no fear, because we've got ourselves out the doo-doo in a big way, as you mentioned earlier on the slide. We were bottom of the league in November. We're now 10th. We're not expected to do anything. Our fan base is supportive. There's a crest of a wave. Everybody's playing for each other. There's a lot of intensity in the way we're playing, and if we get there, great. But I think there's more pressure on Reading, who have been up and around there all season. There's more pressure on Huddersfield, who have been up and around there all season. There's more pressure on Stevenage, who have been up and around there all season. And we're just sort of coming up the stand side, having been last in the race for most of the horse race with a couple of furlongs to go. So who knows how this is going to take. But I think the form's at the right time. I think the mentality of the team is bang on the money. And you can just see that what pleased me most, actually, and this shows the spirit of this team. We had a 16-year-old kid come on to play the last 15 minutes on Tuesday night.
And I mentioned Campbell.
And Bim Pepple goes, "Where are you? Where are you? Come here." And he pushes him out. Go on, go and take the adulation of that for me is absolutely all about the right culture, the right team ethic, and where we are as a club right now. To have a 16-year-old kid go out and there you are, Seb, come here. What? Go on, bugger. And he was pushed out and he was like, a bit nervous. He's 16. The fans responded by, yeah, with a fist bump. That says everything you need to know about this group of players. That they've got a 16-year-old kid who, as TC said rightly so, was studying for his history GCSE this time last year, playing on our first team in a win, in a 3-0 win away from home at Wigan, which used to be a Premier League club, and all the senior players have got around him and pushed him towards the fan base. You can't buy that. You cannot buy that. And I think that will bring this team, a bit like the Sturrock side of years ago. There were no superstars. Everyone played for each other. There was intensity throughout the team, and everybody's on the page at the right time. So I think we're dangerous at the minute because we've got nothing to fear because we've never been there all year. We've got nothing to lose. We've not lost it. We've never been there to lose it.
No, it was Seb Campbell for his second senior appearance of first. And was it the Virtue or one of the cups where he scored?
Yeah, he scored against Spurs at home.
That's the one. Win. Yeah, and obviously Joe Moiro, who was also on the bench. I don't believe, Sean in work was showing me a photo from the dressing rooms where there was McCormick's son, and I forget the other one now. There was a couple others.
It was Heyman, Campbell, Moiro, and McCormick. All their shirts lined up.
Yeah, thanks for that, Gav. So, taken up, I think, just to get, because to be fair, I mean, it's a smart bit of decision making from Cleverly, because we still don't know if any more are going to pick up injuries. Will we see Seb on the bench and Joe as well, quite possibly on Saturday? But it was a nice touch from Pepper with that, and he took it in brilliantly, and it's great to get that feeling. Everything is positive around the club, and we want to carry on with that momentum. So, absolutely. Time for the lineups then. So, where's my mouse gone? There it is. We'll do Carl's first, as he did send it to me. He's working again tonight. So, Carl has gone with Ashby Hammond in goal, Edwards, Ross, Mitchell, McKenzie. So, no changes to the back line. It looks like no changes at all. So, Curtis, Boateng, Kane, Dale, Pepple, and Watts. And then he did say to me, actually, he felt he would have put Oseni up there, but he just says, as TC doesn't seem to be picking him to start, he's gone with the same lineup. And pretty much you've done exactly the same, Gav.
I've just changed formation slightly. That's all from... So
why would you change it?
Back four is back four. Well, the thing is, when you've only got 14 fit senior players, it's kind of hard. Like Amici, although he did well when he came on and he was hungry, doesn't deserve a starting spot over Dale. There was... Who else was on the bench? Who came on? Boateng isn't fit enough to start, and Kane's much better.
Wiradou came on, Patterson came on, Amici came on, Campbell and Oseni. The only unused Zach and Moiro.
So you wouldn't start Patterson over Watts. You wouldn't start Amici over Dale. you wouldn't start Wiradoo over Kane. They're the three main senior players. So the team kind of picks itself, really. But what I do like is Watson behind Pepple on that sort of diamond midfield, or in fact diamond midfield, which gives those wide players much better license. And then in possession, Edwards and McKenzie, basically, the Dale and Curtis tuck in and they become wingers, which is amazing, really. So I'm really happy with it, and I think we'll go up with that team, which everybody knows their job. We've done it the last game and a half, and we'll give it a right good go, as they say.
Yeah, definitely. I think Curtis's photo there has done him no favours either. A bit like Watts. They
haven't still got on lineup. They still haven't got Curtis in as an Argyle player or Kane.
Are they not? Well, if he's watching the guy who does lineup builder, there you go. I did notice you switched back to that one tonight. There's no reason to do it. We just we thought we'd try it out when they got in touch.
It's nice to see the faces of the people rather than just a blob.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So score predictions before we get on to the women's game. Then, so score predictions, Andy.
Going to go for a sloppy 1-0 win to Argyle.
Oh, a sloppy one. Okay. Gavin?
2-1 Argyle, I think.
Heather?
1-1.
I'm going to go 3-1 to Argyle. That's how confident I feel with being away.
Wow.
And I think we're going to do what we do always, and that's frustrate them from the off. Whether or not they've seen that in the recent games, but no other team has seemed to have adjusted to that. Then it seems to take them to the second half to do that. Although we do end up running ourselves out of a bit of steam, so it was crucial to have had those first 2 goals in the first half. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. Mike, what are you pitting in the comments? Let us know what your score is, and everybody else. But yeah, I must admit, I'm looking forward to it. So in terms of the game, I'm not there. Andy's got something else going on anyway, haven't you? Gavin's going to be there with Mike, Harvey, etc. Is also up there. So it'll be myself and Carl who will be doing the watch along on Saturday. Hopefully I get rid of this head cold. But yeah, we'll be doing the watch along on Saturday. So really looking forward to that. We are scheduled to go live as well in the evening. I think Mike said he will be able to join us, if that's correct, Mike, from what you said earlier. So I must admit, I'm normally quite nonplussed. I've said that at the start of every game recently, but I'm really looking forward to this one. And as Gavin said, the 52 points, there's that less pressure of, oh my God, getting dragged back down. We want to end on a high because the higher up, of course, we get more money. And that's all important right now. But there is a bit of playing without fear because we're not expected to get up there. And we want to get up there because also Gavin and I's bets will come in. But bet responsibly, of course, if you do. So look, really looking forward to that. So Ethan Pross is saying 2-1 to Argyle. Terry Orford's saying 6-2 to Argyle. GT, come on the Greens, 1-1. Michael Hawkes is also going for a draw, as he said in his video there. Stevie Vaughan's going Reading 1, Argyle 3, Pepple, Dale, Ross. I'm just going to say sod it. Pepple hat-trick for my 3-1, then sod it. He was so close on Tuesday. So there we go. Right, let's move on. Seek and destroy them. Yeah, Mark, absolutely. So Heather, the floor is yours. So the next game up for the ladies, take it away.
Yeah, we've got Cheltenham obviously this weekend. It was a rearranged game. We were scheduled to play them on the 29th, but obviously because we're in the final, they've had to bring it forward. The option was to push it back a bit, but that would have then clashed with internationals because obviously we know a lot of the girls do get killed up for Wales, so they didn't want to schedule it, then it be cancelled, and then they're panicking trying to put in games before the end of the season. So it has been moved up to Mother's Day, want to do something for your mother, bring her out to watch some Argyle.
Absolutely. A 3 o'clock kickoff for a change. Normally it's 2 o'clock, isn't it?
It's a 3 o'clock because there is actually an event in the Club Argyle, like making flower bouquets for your mum. So they finish at 2. So they'll basically get here's your flowers, get out, football in.
Fair enough then. So, and I did see someone ask earlier, forget who it was. I did catch a comment about the Bournemouth game.
Yeah, Ethan asked about the Bournemouth away for league game. I can't find any tickets on their website for next week's game, so I'm guessing after they played Real Bedford this weekend, they'll be live. But obviously the QPR final tickets are out already for the weekend.
Yeah, that was my next question. Yeah, I've seen that advertised earlier. So, that remind us of that date of that fixture, please.
So that's the 28th of March, and we are at QPR in London. It is £15 for an adult, £7.50 for a contestant, and under 10s getting free. The supporters bus that we put on is fully sold out. So no more seats available. So obviously you'll have to make your own way up. We got quite a lot of interest. So we're actually looking to do more supporters bus for next season. But yeah, we just want to get as many people as we can up there.
Yeah. I mean, there's always that community minibus the club have. Could always be used. I don't know how many that holds.
The battle bus.
Battle bus, yeah. So, cool. Obviously, we're looking at maybe the odd potential of getting someone on the show towards the end of the season, which will be good as we look to end and then start the new season. God, it's mad to think of that already as we mean to go on. And that is bringing you more content, more people, more guests, etc., etc., etc. Right, I'm about done. An hour and 30 on the dot. What was your score prediction for Sunday?
That I don't know. So I did obviously research what we played last time because we played them away. We got a 2-0 finish in the end with goals from Whitmore and Poole. Obviously, Whitmore's still carrying a bit of an injury at the minute, but I still think with Cheltenham being in 8th, we could do a good solid 2-0 or 3-0 even over these girls, especially being at home. We have that just pull to get the goals, just get another clean sheet. We need it basically at the minute because that league is so tight again.
Well,
Gavin, you'll be there, I'm guessing. Yeah, even with the away.
Mother's coming round and the wife's getting fed early, and my wife's Mother's Day present is going to be 4 hours of peace and quiet while I take the kids out to the football.
Ideal.
You're not going to take her with you then? This time?
No. She's going to have a well-earned rest, and I'm cooking roast beef for everybody in the morning, and then straight after lunch we'll get in the car and go up to the ground because the girls will berate me if they're not there, essentially. So, and the quid pro quo is Mum gets the afternoon to watch a film and sit and do nothing, which is probably what she deserves.
Good point. Stephen Cooper there as well. Just said good luck to anyone doing the men's day at St Luke's. Yeah, if you can support that, guys, get and support that as well.
Mike, there's one more thing as well. There's a Reading fan, unfortunately, who recently passed away, and there's a minute's silence or a clap, I think. I can't find the guys. Stephen something.
Is it 14th minute in?
Is it 40th minute?
14th or 40th?
At 1-4. Sorry, it's my Welshness.
That's all right. It's me Welshness.
Isn't it? It's my Welshness, isn't it? I can't find it now. I'm looking on the PAFC hashtag and I cannot find it anywhere. So we need to put that on socials. But for the 2,900 that are there, we don't want to be repeat of Stockport where no one said anything and then we get berated for being unsporting. So let's make sure that we clap at the appropriate time.
Our fans are pretty good at that normally, aren't they?
We are not, absolutely, 100% we are. But that day there was no announcement on socials. There was no announcement of the ground. They clap. I'll go like, "What are you clapping for?" Then afterwards on socials, like, "You lot are horrible." It's like, well, tell us.
It doesn't actually say a time. I've just seen the tweet, and it just says there'll just be a minute applause for him, but not with an exact time.
Minute applause. EJ, if you're watching, give us the name of the person. And the minute that we got applaud because he's always
Ryan Eddington.
Okay,
is the gentleman that passed away.
Okay, thank you.
Condolences to his family.
Nikki, there's always extra in my house. I'm not giving you my address, but there's always extra in my house. I'll plate you one up and bring it to the ladies' game. There you go. You can. I'll take it with me. You can sit and eat that whilst watching the ladies.
I'm also trying to, but I can't bring it up. And I said to Andy, make a note of it. Who's the ex-Argyle defender that's suffering at the moment?
Jock Morrison.
Thank you.
Jock Morrison. It's Jock Morrison. He had Bell's palsy, which is really affecting him. But a lot of fans are, mucking around and getting around him. So got a lot of support. But he's a tough cookie, Jock Morrison. So, all the best to you, Andy, if you're listening in. Or if you get to hear this.
Yeah.
Get well soon, boy.
Yeah, excellent. Have I missed anything, gents, or we covered everything?
I think so.
No. So thank you, Gav, for getting the slides up and taking everybody through that. If you missed it at the start of the show, then of course you can listen back on your favorite podcast platform once I get it up after we end the show. It's normally up there within about half an hour. And also thank you to all of those that do check in. The numbers are growing every week. For those of you that may or may not be interested, but we have on average nearly 2,000 monthly active listeners, which blows all our minds. And it's absolutely incredible. So we really appreciate the support. Or you can go back, of course, on YouTube and rewatch that start. But Gavin takes everybody through brilliantly on the situation that the club's facing at the moment. But the good thing is we're secured in League One. Let's go on and see what happens in the playoffs. If it could be so up and down this season that it would just be mental for us to then go up and win it, the playoffs. And then we just deal with that challenge if it happens. But yeah, let's finish on a high because that is only going to be a good thing anyway. Looking forward to Saturday. Like I said, Carl and I will be there for the watch along before kickoff. So join us if you're not going. And safe trip, Gavin and Mike as well, and all those that will be travelling up. To that game. Let's hope it's a great result. Heather, enjoy that and Sunday as well. But thank you, everybody, for Heather. Someone's come in to say hello. Don't know who runs that account.
That'll be Jazz.
Jazz, right? Yeah, cool. Even
Let's have the ladies win on the weekend as well.
Yeah,
exactly. So look, guys, I mean, it's 9 o'clock, so you get to go to bed earlier than our usual 8:30 start, which is
live now.
Definitely is a much better time for me, certainly with not feeling great tonight. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of the week. We'll see you Saturday. Until then, catch you later and thanks.